the necessary precautions. So it's all about planning. It's about readiness.
Yes. Readiness and planning.
Mindset.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what is an ethical workplace culture, if I may dive like that, and how can it be cultivated in the modern day society where we are?
Thank you very much. The unethical work environment, we had a survey, so I'm not going to give you a textbook definition. I'm going to give you a definition that Ugandans came up with.
Yes,
we talked about, we went to Ugandans and asked them, what would you regard as an ethical work environment? So many of them, and together they came up with what I really believe is a very, very good street understanding of ethics, and they said it is a work environment in which the agreed policies and values are consistently observed by the employees even when no one is watching.
Consistent?
Yes. Consistently applied even when no one is watching. And so that's the kind of environment that we would like to create, that for somebody to know, this is what I'm supposed to do. And if you know you're supposed to sweep this room, for example, and you're supposed to clean, your role is not just sweep down here and then somebody comes here, but why are those cobwebs there? You know, you're supposed to clean the room, and you look around, and you should not get another person to say, but why have you left this? You should be self-critical. You should be judging yourself. Is this good enough?
And how can we cultivate such a behavioral change?
The behavior change, you see, we've gotten to a point where a lot of substandard things in our society are now accepted, and so as a result of that, what used to be substandard is now the normal.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that we do not know what is right and what is wrong. When you have somebody at the workplace who gives you a report, and you look through this report, and the substance, there's no substance. They just didn't try. They just put down something, and they
do the normal.
Yes, and it might be that they've been reporting to somebody who gets that same thing, endorses, and just hands on.
And for what?
Yes, so it means that we are lacking both at a supervisory level, but also at the staff level. Wow. A supervisor is given something, it is substandard, it is endorsed. Look at what happens along the roadworks. You've seen how poor the roadworks are. But the supervisor is standing there. He's there. This construction and so on, buildings, these people are there, and they approve. They're approving things that are substandard.
So does that come from the institutions where we go for studies? Where does this start from? Where does it come from?
I think the culture overall is quality, responsibility are things that we've abandoned for short-term gains, and it happens right across the board. We are not only talking about the person at the office, we are talking about right from the environment in which we've grown now, because it is said that it will be very difficult, even in rural areas, to go and find quality milk. People are pouring water in the milk, and so you've seen children who are seeing this happening from when they are young, and they will go and they will still do the same thing because
when they grow
up. And it's not as if they don't know that this is wrong, but now they see it happens across the board. So for us to be able to go back, that there are things that we need to talk about and talk about and talk about and say wrong is wrong. Yes, and we actually don't need somebody writing these things on the wall for us, because right and wrong is written in our hearts. You actually know what's right, you know what's wrong. But sometimes people are really, as I said, running for very quick gain. I'll give you an illustration. I commissioned furniture one time, and then you've got to do wood preservative. And so this is a bed, and I vanish all the wood. And so on the top where you see it is vanished, but underneath it's not vanished at all. And so you ask the people, why didn't you vanish? They say, but why? Nobody does that. And they say, why? Because nobody looks under the bed. And the whole point is that you are preventing these insects that can burrow in the wood. So even if nobody looks under the bed, so what's the point of giving me a bed? Which on top it's good, but underneath it is not. But as they say, but everybody, this is what they do. And because nobody looks underneath. Now, this person who has done this bad knows underneath it is not vanished, but that's now the standard. And so those are things we've got to teach ourselves. Wrong is wrong. Do
you think the parenting role has in one way or the other contributed to the dwindling numbers of ethics and all?
Certainly. It's everything. It's home, school, the whole society. You know, society is so interconnected. You cannot just point out one little thing and you say it is this. Each time we've talked about traffic, you are with children in the car and there's such a lot of traffic, and because you planned very badly, now you are driving on the shoulder.
And they're seeing you.
Yes, and they're seeing you. They are seeing you. You've not put on your safety belt. And when you see the traffic person, you quickly put on, and the children are watching. So all these things go towards building the society where we are.
Oh, you understand.
Yes.
And how can ethics be maintained at the workplace? You know, of late, Mr. Wire, we have a lot of dynamism at workplaces. Some people actually just walk in for 1 hour and they actually go and the others come through. Then you have workspaces that are a little bit fragmented in a way. How best can this be maintained at a workplace of that sort?
Work culture, organizational culture is interconnected. Policies, procedures, standards, behavior, communication, all these things are interconnected. So if I could put it like this, that organizational culture is like what you call a 1,000-piece puzzle. Each one must fit somewhere.
Into the other.
And you can't get one from this side and it goes the other side. So for us to change the whole of that culture, it's going to take time. It's going to take persistence. But at the end of the day, it is going to be leadership driven. And the leadership must be right on top of this, but also to know it's going to take a while. But if all the people are involved and you bring them in, so it's not only just going to be talk about it, because many of the things that happen in these organizations, many people know about the things. We've worked with organizations involving machinery, involving something. People know they are doing wrong things. People know, you know, because you don't feel like working, you remove one bolt from a machine. And when the supervisor comes, the machine is not working.
The machine is off.
Yes, the machine is off. And so everybody runs around, and then finally somehow either they will get something else, or eventually people say, but let's try it. Then somebody fixes a little small thing. But there are going to be times when you end up repairing something at a very big cost. Just when the solution was really very, very small, or sometimes which you could have found, but and in the worst cases that somebody is going to come to replace a machine that was actually okay because somebody removed a little tiny bolt.
I hear you.
So you have to get everybody believing it is in our interest, all of us. I stand to gain something if the system is doing right. So what's in it for me must be right from the top to the bottom. Even the person at the bottom must see how it will help them as individuals if the system was running right.
So the effect comes in a cycle.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Why should we care about ethical work culture in this generation?
In this generation,
yes.
There are lots of things. Let's start off now with what we're all talking about. Buy Uganda, build Uganda. But look at the quality of what is happening. So if we really want to grow Uganda, let's do the right thing so that I do not have to be tempted to buy something from outside. Let me have a very good alternative here in Uganda. But also, I'll talk about just two things. First of all, what legacy are we giving the young generation? We have all these people, young people watching us, and we are doing things wrongly. If we continue like this, you have your father who goes late to school to work, comes back, and is really, in terms of what he does, in terms of what he puts in, so little. And that's what the children are seeing. And we can't expect that they will actually work any harder, and they will be any more considerate than we are. But the other critical thing is this. Uganda now, we are looking at oil. Now we are talking about gold and so on, but these things are so little. Let's look at the workforce in Uganda. Let's say a person has the potential to produce 10 times what they're producing today. Just look at if we just increased our productivity from 1 to 6. Can't you see this whole economy growing? We talk about low salaries. We are the ones contributing. See, our economy is so small, but if we worked harder and we grew the economy, then a lot more would come in. So it's not just look at oil. It is a lot of what we would be doing at the workplace, wherever we are growing the economy. Then all of us as individuals can benefit. The salaries would go up. In terms of funds to do infrastructure would grow. Really, Uganda it's the individuals, you and I, who would build it, and that's why yesterday among the things that we did is honor what we call workplace heroes. People who are selfless, dedicated, committed, go the extra mile, not only just say, what does my job description
my
say?
working hours,
yes.
8 hours.
People who are flagging themselves, going a long way. Those are the people that we want to build if we are going to grow our economy, if we are going to be now the preferred destination for investors, for growth, which individuals.
That brings me to the question where one say that the labor force we are actually bringing from the institutions of training like universities, are we breeding rightful employees, or we are breeding people just looking for jobs?
I think we've looked at the universities and we forget the problem started from far, far down. This school system where pass the exams, pass. So yes, we are looking at the university because that's where they're coming out. But it's not the universities, because even by the time they get to the universities, because you get to the universities and you are being asked now to sit an English test because you cannot spell, you cannot do what. So the system is bent, it's broken from down. And so we need to focus on that. Yes, by the way, quite a lot of our education, by the way, is good because when you now find students that go out, they will tell you that in theoretical areas they're excelling, but practical completely down. And so when we are teaching things, but those things, a lot of them are not relevant at all. So it's now teaching practical skills, but also getting people to be conscientious. That's not there. We just teach people to memorize what they are going to answer for an exam, but telling a person to take personal responsibility. People are looking at how to blame. Something has gone wrong, but they are not looking at what it is that I didn't do. What could I have done? It may not be your area, but as long as it's something that you could do, do not wait for somebody to come to you and say, do this. Just if I can do it and there's nobody around, pick it up, do it. That's how you become responsible. Our system doesn't build that in us.
And does this exempt the bosses when we're talking about ethics and working culture? Are the bosses in one way exempted out of this?
As I said, it is a system. It involves everybody. And as I said, critical is the role of leadership. That perseverance, the guidance. Because leadership is about inspiring people. So how are you going to inspire your staff if you are the one that comes late, that doesn't account, you are asking for resources and just sign that voucher, I don't care what you put on the voucher, I just need the money. So it is that inspiration, because what you do, people are actually watching. And if you are taking out resources wrongfully, it doesn't stop at you. Even the people that are processing this for you, they will now start putting in their wrong vouchers as well and duplicate the system. So once you do something at the top and it's not good, it gets amplified many times beneath you. So we are looking at the top to be exemplary. The top must walk the talk.
The leaders.
Yes.
And how does this eventually affect the national development of a nation like Uganda?
Again, the nation is a sum total of what is happening in the different places. It's a sum total. So whether it's at a sub-county level, at a district level, wherever it is, if something is going wrong somewhere, you know that the nation at the top relies on the legs and the foundation. Yes, on the foundation. So it's going wrong down somewhere, it will be reflected at what is going wrong at the top. So when we talk about accounting, for example, yes, we are talking about accountability as a nation, but look at what's not being accounted for at the bottom. Whatever is, if we are giving directions, but we are not following up on implementation. It will still we'll still get this notion that we are doing very, very well when we are not. You may remember the former, what they call the Soviet Union, when they gave all these glossy numbers about how well they were doing as a country, until eventually they found it was all
a lie,
all a big lie, and it all collapsed and fell down. Yes. So
that is where we are.
Yes.
So going forward, what should we do from the family level to the school level to the national spectrum? What is expected of us as Ugandans? Anyone watching NTV this Saturday morning, how best can they play a part of this?
It says re-examine ourselves. Ethics is about you as an individual. It's not you being told what to do. It is how you behave. It's how you respond. It is what you believe in. Now, and so we are talking about a society where we see just because other people are doing things wrong doesn't mean I must also do something wrong, that I must join them. It's not a question of joining them. So as Ugandans, that what we need to do is look at yourself. Is this the best that I can do? Yes, your job description might accept that as the standard, and it will probably expect you to give 4 out of 10. That if I were to look at what you've done, I can't terminate you because you've achieved the bare minimum, that you are okay. But if you are capable of doing 8, why should you do 4? If you are capable of 7, why should you do 4? So really it is an individual taking personal responsibility. But for you to know that if you are ethical, if you are driving yourself hard, you are improving yourself. You're not doing this for another person. And that's at the end of the day for you to say, do I want to grow? Do I want to become a better person? Do I want to improve my circumstances? Because I said, what is in it for me? So let's not start thinking that if I'm working harder, I am making my boss richer. Because if you develop yourself, you are actually promoting yourself. You will be the person who will be promoted. You will be the person that's going to be you will be head-hunted. People will, even within the organization, information is going out within this organization. This is our most reliable, most hard-working person. And so that information goes out. If you've resisted unethical things, you might be sacked. Yes, the system might push you out, but the people that we've seen, people that have gone out for those reasons, somebody gives them a call. Within some time, be sure somebody will know that person was terminated there because he or she resisted unethical things. So, and that is very big testimony for you. And so what we would say is, please, whatever it is, do things right, but also at the same time stretch yourself. Is this the best that I can be? I think we have the God-given potential. We are not working hard enough to get there. And I think we need to.
That is the biggest question today. Is that the best you can offer? Is that the best you can do? That is a talk we actually had with Mr. Sam Wire, coming from, of course, the International Ethics and Work, the Executive Director of the Institute. And just so to put it to you, is that the best you can do? This is Morning at NTV. We'll be back shortly.
The Spider-Man Far From Home trailer is about to play, but